Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 2018 DVD and Blu-ray Collection Overview. Okay, so I know a lot of you have been looking forward to the next couple sections for a while, so the wait is over. At long last, it is here. So we started our look at the comic book stuff last time with some of the indie adaptations. So today we get into the big two. Yes, so here, of course, as you can see, is the Marvel shelf, and here is the DC shelf. Now, there's actually more than what you see here. I've got some stuff on DVD as well, which I'm going to pull off, and we'll make sure they're in the appropriate sections. So, in deference to fans of either or, I'm not going to play any favorites here. I'm going to post both the Marvel and DC episodes at the same time. So whichever one you want to see, whichever one you're looking forward to the most, you can go ahead and watch that one. So this one is the Marvel one. So we're going to do Marvel in this video, and then in the other one will be all the DC stuff. So a lot to cover. This is an entire shelf, as well as some other stuff that wouldn't fit on the shelf. So let's get to it. Make mine Marvel today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Okay, here we go. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this one. So, starting from the beginning, jumping into the Marvel Cinematic Universe here, we have Iron Man, the original Iron Man from 2008. Can you believe that the Cinematic Universe has been going for 10 years now? Crazy! But yeah, here it is. This is the, of course, the 2-disc edition with all the extras. Very nice. I was actually quite late to the Marvel Cinematic Universe party, so I had to play a bit of catch-up here. Had to special order this one. This is the Incredible Hulk edition with the nice lenticular cover. It's not 3D. They didn't go 3D until Thor, but it does have the green case. So the green case and the slipcover. Gotta love it. Very nice. And I also really like the fact that they did the... it's the TV show origin, like from the Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno show. Yeah, that's the origin they went with for the Incredible Hulk movie. I thought that was a nice little nod to fans of that. And then we have the special edition of Iron Man 2. Really nice bumpy slipcovers on these, all shiny and textured. Very nice. And then sadly I did not get the regular, or the 3D edition, but I did get Thor. Again, nice bumpy slipcover. And that reminds me, so no 3D edition, however, I did get this limited edition slipcover from the Best Buy edition. This is the one I originally bought and then sold and then rebought with the old slipcover. And it has the reproduction of Journey into Mystery number 83 there, the first appearance of Thor. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, and then carrying on, we have Captain America, the first Avenger. This was actually the first Marvel Cinematic Universe movie I got. It was actually a viewer sent it to me. He's like, dude, you gotta check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's so good. So he sent me this one, which I guess chronologically speaking is the first chapter if you were to watch them in story order. But this was actually the fourth movie released. So anyway, I got this, and before I watched it, I went and tracked down the other movies, and yeah, good stuff. Well, I guess it was around the time that Thor came out, so I got Thor as well. And then, of course, we have the Avengers, the culmination of Phase 1. This is the 3D edition. Very cool. And then a viewer actually sent me this, which was the Avengers Metal Pack. Very cool indeed. I don't know if it has any... Oh yeah, I actually did put the discs inside as well, just to kind of have them all there. Very nice. So the other one I just keep for the lenticular cover and stuff. And then again, I neglected to get the 3D edition. We have Iron Man 3. I think this was actually sent to me by a viewer as well. So I have yet to pick up the 3D. So I still need the 3D editions of Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man 3. And then I'll have all the 3D ones that we got over here. And then finally with this one, Thor the Dark World, I started picking up the 3D version. So there we go. So get all nice and deluxe Nice bumpy slipcover there. Very nice indeed. Yeah, I don't know, a lot of people poop on Thor the Dark World. I actually liked it better than the first Thor, so I have a feeling I'm in the minority there. But anyway, mainly because I thought there was some great Loki stuff. Captain America the Winter Soldier. Holy moly, this was good. This was really, really good. I did do a review of Phase 2 a while back. I don't know why I never did Phase 1. So perhaps one day I'll go back and do Phase 1. And then maybe we'll do a Phase 3 as well. And then we got the 3D Blu-ray of Guardians of the Galaxy. Loved Guardians of the Galaxy. This is one of the ones I've actually rewatched the most, I think. Can we get some bumpiness here? Where's the... There we go. Some bumpiness. There you go. Very nice. Loved this movie. And then we have the Avengers Age of Ultron. So this one is a Steelbook edition. Very nice. Introducing Vision, formerly Jarvis. Just 1 second here. The inside. Let's show you the inside of the Steelbooks because they're neat. Okay. I think there's more characters underneath. I'm not going to take all the discs out. This is just kind of a general look at the collection. It's not a closer look, so not as much detail to go into. And then we have Ant-Man, which I thoroughly enjoyed. This was actually, I like this one a lot more than I thought I was going to. I was never really overly wowed with the character of Ant-Man in the comics, but that was a lot of fun. And then we have Civil War, which, as you can probably tell, I waited a little too long to get and did not get the slipcover with it. But I did at least get the 3D edition. So, there you go. This was really good as well. Finally get Spider-Man in the MCU, which is very nice. And then we have Doctor Strange. Now, with this one, they did this special packaging, which is really rad. Clear case, clear slipcover, like really snazzy, and they called it the Cinematic Universe Edition, and it has the 3D and the Blu-ray and the DVD and the digital. So I thought, oh wow, they're going to do all of them like this now. What a cool way to have, like, you know, special packaging for them. And they never did another one like that again. In fact, as of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, they didn't even offer them in 3D anymore here in North America. You can still get the 3D editions if you import the UK version, but no 3D in North America. So I really like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 as well. With the one exception of this one, Spider-Man Homecoming 3D, which I guess is part of their deal with Disney, Sony actually released. So we got this one in 3D, but that's it. But no like bumpiness on the, like, it's just a plain picture on the slipcover, no lenticular, nothing, like, oh well. And then we have Thor Ragnarok. I do like all the shininess, like all the holographic shininess. Very cool. This one was so much fun. Rosie and I both have actually rewatched this one a few times together. It's one of her favorites. She really likes the banter between Thor and Hulk. And then finally we have Black Panther. At the time of this recording, I think Avengers Infinity War comes out next week, so just a week out. But kind of hoping to get my hands, I think there's a Steelbook edition, kind of hoping I can snag that one just to be consistent with the other Avengers movies, but I don't know. Alright, so there you go. So that's the entire MCU to date. At this point in time, yeah, Avengers Infinity War is just about to come out on Blu-ray in like a couple days. And then we have Ant-Man and the Wasp is still in theaters. So, next up, going back a few years, we have Spider-Man, the first of the Sam Raimi trilogy. This is a special Steelbook edition. I got these Steelbooks like on like super cheap on sale. I can't even remember what they cost, but they were not very expensive. And quite frankly, I thought the artwork on them was a lot better than the regular Blu-rays at the time. I don't know why I don't have a backing on the first one, but anyway. And then there's the third one. Really liked the Sandman story in this. Thought the Venom story was, you know, shoehorned in by committee, which is basically what the case was. But it's a shame that Sam Raimi wasn't able to just do the movie he wanted to do. But oh well, such is life sometimes. And then we have the we got to hurry and put out a Spider-Man movie because we don't want to lose the license. The Amazing Spider-Man 3D is actually kind of a cool cover there. I wasn't overly wowed with this one, to be honest. I mean, it definitely felt like a sort of by-the-numbers, designed by committee Spider-Man movie. Like, it literally felt to me like a let's do a Spider-Man movie so we don't lose the license production, instead of an actual, something artistic. But yeah, and then Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2, I still have not watched. Much like the others, I actually got these really cheap. They were on the bargain racks at some point, and I snagged both of them. All right, and then a few years back, Marvel had a deal with Lionsgate to do a bunch of animated movies based on Marvel Comics. So this is all of them. We have the Invincible Iron Man. Most of these actually predate the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's how long ago this was. And this is around the same time that DC started to do their animated DC movies. So it was kind of, I think, in direct response to that. It's like, well, DC's doing them, we should do them too. But anyway, these ones, honestly, they're kind of a mixed bag. They're pretty good overall. If you watch this and then watch the Benedict Cumberbatch Doctor Strange movie, you will see that they are basically the exact same story, except one is a cartoon and one is not. And then we have the Ultimate Avengers collection. So this has actually 2 movies in it. We've got Ultimate Avengers and Ultimate Avengers 2. I really enjoyed this. It's actually based on the first couple story arcs from the Ultimates comics. So very cool. And then we have Next Avengers. Rosie loves this one. Just because it's kids, basically. It's the kids of the Avengers fighting Ultron. And you got Old Man Hulk with a beard. I mean, come on. I thought this was fun. I don't know. Fans are kind of split on it, I think. But and then here we go. This was actually the first time I had ever seen anything involving Deadpool. Yeah, Deadpool is a little bit after my time in terms of the comics. Like, I had stopped collecting comics around the time that shortly before he was introduced, so I didn't really know the character much. I had heard about him, and then, well, I saw Hulk versus Wolverine, and Deadpool has a pretty major appearance in that. So, lots of fun. Good stuff. And nice, cool, bumpy slipcover. These are shorter ones. They're not like... There's basically 2 shorter films, like about... what is it? Hulk versus Wolverine is 37 minutes. Hulk versus Thor is 45 minutes. So they're just kind of... Collectively, they make a feature film, I guess. But they're 2 separate short films. This one, I think most fans will agree, is absolutely the best of the Marvel animated movies. We have Planet Hulk. This one was so good. I finally picked up the original graphic novel, Planet Hulk, and I'm planning to give this a rewatch after I finish reading that. Sadly, not a green case. I kind of feel like anything Hulk should be in a green case, just because, green. And then the last one they did as part of their contractual obligation of producing 8 films for Lionsgate, we have Thor, Tales of Asgard. So this is basically sort of an anthology type of thing about the early days of Thor before he got the hammer. So, kind of cool stuff. And then there's been a few individual ones released since. We have, this is basically a CG anime style one, Iron Man, Rise of the Technovore, which I think was produced by the same people who did the Marvel animes a few years back. Yeah, by the way, speaking of Marvel animated stuff, you might want to check out my superheroes shelf, because I've got a lot of Marvel stuff on there as well. This is mainly focused on the movies and specifically Blu-ray releases of stuff. So then we got Iron Man and Hulk, Heroes United. This is actually a CG movie. Very cool. There's been some others put out since that I saw on Netflix that sadly do not have Blu-ray releases. So here's hoping that we get releases of those. Where's our season sets of Ultimate Spider-Man and Hulk and the Agents of Smash? Like, come on, can we get that stuff, please? Please and thank you. Then we have Avengers Confidential, Black Widow, and The Punisher. Very nice slipcover on there, all bumpy and shiny. That's like a DC animated movie level slipcover. That's pretty nice. That's saying something, because the DC ones, they really go all out with those. So then we got Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the Blu-ray set, which is very cool. So this is the first 26 episodes. I have not watched this whole thing. I've watched about half of the first season and really dug it a lot, actually. It's very well done. And there we go. And then second season, which is another 26 episodes. And sadly, that's all she wrote. That's as many as they did. And then we have what many fans say is the best Spider-Man series since the 90s one. We have Spectacular Spider-Man, the complete series on Blu-ray. Very nice. Again, I need to finish watching this. I've only watched the first few episodes and can definitely see why it's a fan favorite. It's incredibly well done. And then we have Wolverine and the X-Men. Longtime viewers may recall I used to have a Steelbook DVD edition of this a while back. And then they put it out on Blu-ray. I had to import this, though, because it's not actually on Blu-ray in Canada. It was only available through the States. But well worth it. This was a great show. I just powered through this show in like a couple of days. Just completely got sucked in. Yeah, sadly, only one season. But it's a 26-episode season, so it's a good length season. But, yeah, and it ends on a killer cliffhanger, so it's unfortunate. But for the ride that it was very good. And then I just slotted this into the collection here. It doesn't normally go on this shelf, but because we have the Blu-rays here, we have the Fantastic Four Extended Edition. Now, sadly, this is the only release we've had of the Extended Edition. It actually is not on the Blu-ray. And quite frankly, I think this version of the movie is vastly superior to the theatrical version because it adds a lot more character moments. You get a lot more stuff with the Thing and Alicia, and it just seems like a much more polished, more properly fleshed out version of the movie. Now, does this have both? Yeah, this has both cuts on it actually, the theatrical and the extended version. And in terms of the difference. It doesn't actually tell me the difference in running time. Just says, it says 125 minutes. Well, great. Which cut? I'm assuming that's the extended version. So anyway, then I got this little box set here, which has the two Fantastic Four movies and Daredevil, the Ben Affleck one. The director's cut, of course, because it's the version you want to see, if you're going to see it at all. Yeah, okay, so this is the theatrical cut. It's 105 minutes. So the extended cut is 20 minutes longer than the theatrical cut. That's not insignificant at all. Like that's quite a significant amount of additional footage there. And then we have Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, which I thought was really good until Galactus showed up. Yeah, thanks Tom Rothman for not giving us Galactus the way he should have been. Oh, but people don't like giant robots. Transformers movies. You idiot. And Galactus is not a giant robot. You idiot. Anyway, Daredevil, the director's cut. Another case where I think the director's cut is vastly superior to the theatrical cut. There's some featurettes on here that actually go through some of the differences, and you can see how this is very much a completely different version of the movie. Still the same basic plot, but there's a lot of character moments and stuff, and sort of darker moments that were cut from the theatrical one that, quite frankly, I think make it a much better movie. Yeah, so I don't know. If you've never seen it, ignore the naysayers. See the director's cut and see what you think. And then we have Elektra, which is kind of a sequel to Daredevil, basically following Elektra. This is the director's cut. In this case, I don't think even the director's cut can save the movie. I thought it was kind of meh, especially considering how many great comics there have been in the past featuring Elektra. And then we have Captain America, the collector's edition. This is the, what was it, 1986, 1990? 1992. This is the 1992 version of Captain America. I remember renting this on VHS back when it came out. I never got a theatrical release. It went straight to video. I thought this was an improvement over the TV movies from the 70s, but still didn't quite get it right. I thought it was cool to finally see the Red Skull in live action. But, yeah, there's some issues with this. It's, yeah. Anyway, it's good to have for the collection. And then we've got the 2003 version of Hulk, the Ang Lee version. Again, I have some issues with it, but I also like a lot of aspects of it. Like, I mean, all the scenes with the Hulk, where he's smashing up stuff. That's great. It's classic Hulk action. But had some issues with the story and the tinkering with the origin. And then we've got the X-Men trilogy. So this was, of course, when there was only 3. So this is basically the definitive edition of the first 3 movies to get, simply because it has all the extras from all the previous DVD editions and is absolutely a definitive set. So, yeah, honestly, I mean, I still have a huge love for the first two movies. I still hate the third one. I still think the second one is the best, by far, of the original trilogy. Great stuff. And then we had what I think is a fantastic... no, that's not the one. We had X-Men Origins Wolverine, which was not fantastic, but... this one I had... Honestly, I liked most of this, other than the end with Deadpool. They completely effed up Deadpool. So... No, it's Deadpool, I should swear. They completely fucked up Deadpool. So, yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with that. Oh, yeah, Tom Rothman. Right. Oh, and I should mention also I have... I don't even know how I got this, but I have an alternate slipcover for X-Men Origins Wolverine. There you go. Because that makes all the difference in the world. Then Tom Rothman left, and we got a good X-Men movie again. We got X-Men First Class, which was freaking fantastic. I did a review of this a while back, and, you know, I remember the first time I saw it, I thought it was kind of eh. And then I watched it again, I was like, holy crap, that was amazing. I don't know why I thought it was eh. But anyway, great stuff. And then we have The Wolverine. This is the most deluxe edition that they released. Contains the Unleashed Extended Edition. Also includes the 3D version of the movie and all kinds of extras. Now that said, the 3D version is only the theatrical version, which is annoying because I consider the extended version to be the definitive version to watch. It's got more violence in all the right places, for all the right reasons. Little bit more swearing, and just generally is a better film. It's much more in tone with what Wolverine should be. And this actually prompted me to go out and buy the original Frank Miller miniseries of Wolverine, which was one of the big inspirations for this particular story. Really good stuff. I really enjoyed this one a lot, and enjoy it more and more with each reviewing. And then we have this cool special edition of X-Men Days of Future Past, basically what X-Men Last Stand should have been. And yeah, very cool. I think I did a little closer look on this. I got to get back to my X-Men reviews one of these days. I never actually finished them, and there's been several more movies since then. So yeah, when I do those, we'll take a closer look at this. It's pretty cool. And then, speaking of alternate cuts, we have X-Men Days of Future Past, the Rogue Cut. Now, again, much like I've been saying with a lot of these other alternate cuts of the comic book movies, this, I think, is absolutely the definitive cut of this movie, and is actually the only one I'll watch now. I think it's just really, really well done, and all the added scenes and added character moments and stuff really add a lot. I mean, for God's sake, you don't even have Rogue in the theatrical cut, yet she plays a pretty important part in this version. So I'm amazed they were even able to, you know, rework a cut without her in it. Great stuff. Really enjoyed it a lot. Deadpool, which of course the sequel just came out recently, and I believe is coming out on Blu-ray very, very shortly. I definitely plan to pick that up. This was actually the first review I did for my X-Men week a while back, and oh man, I've watched this movie a few times. I even showed it to my mom, who doesn't like superhero movies generally, and she thought it was hilarious, and ended up watching it again the next day. But yeah, this is just so much fun. I mean, this is what Deadpool should have been all along, and I'm glad that they were finally able to actually do it the way it was supposed to be, and it worked great. It was such a fun movie. And then we have X-Men Apocalypse, which I actually still have yet to watch. Yeah, basically my plan was to rewatch Days of Future Past, and then watch this, and then do the reviews again. So, yeah, one of these days. Don't ask me when. I don't know. I'll do them eventually. So, you'd think I'd be all over that one, because that's the one that takes place in the 80s. But then we got Logan. Again, have not watched it yet, because even though it's not a direct sequel, I want to watch X-Men Apocalypse first. One thing I did do, however, is I got Old Man Logan, which is what part of this is loosely based on. And I'm talking about the original miniseries. I haven't picked up the ongoing series, but I'd actually really like to, because I really enjoyed Old Man Logan. There were parts of it I found a little disturbing, maybe a little distasteful, but overall, Really good story, really well done. So definitely looking forward to seeing this movie when I get around to it. And next up, we have the greatest movie ever made, Fan 4-Stick. No, this is... Yeah, I got this on the bargain rack because, oh, cool, shiny slipcover. That'll make it a better movie. And thought I should finally check it out and see. Like, I got to see if this is as bad as everybody says it is. And I watched it, and, well, it actually is as bad as everybody says it is. In fact, I think people may have been a little too kind. One of these days I'll probably do a review of that, just so you can get my thoughts on it. Then we have Kick-Ass, which I really enjoyed a lot. It's definitely not a superhero movie for kids. A lot of violence, a lot of swearing, but also a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. And then we have Kick-Ass 2, which I know fans are kind of divided on. I thought it was all right. It definitely doesn't have the same magic as the first one, but it's still a lot of fun. Jim Carrey's character in this is absolutely hilarious. In fact, he's so different and so made up, and his performance is so different from anything we've seen him in before. I didn't even realize it was Jim Carrey at first. That's how good he is in this. And then we have one of my all-time favorite comic book movies, Howard the Duck. So, as you can see, I have Howard the Duck on Blu-ray. I also have it on DVD. I also have it on Laserdisc. And I have the novelization. And I have the first 2 issues of the comic book adaptation of the film, but for whatever reason I never picked up issue 3. But that's okay, because I also got the Marvel Super Special version, which has the entire thing reprinted in magazine size on much higher quality paper. And I have the original soundtrack album on vinyl, and the 12-inch single with extended mixes of a couple of the songs. No glare. Yeah, and I also saw the movie 3 times when it came out in theaters. I like Howard the Duck. What can I say? But wait, there's more. I got a few from the DVD Remnants shelf here. I'm just going to show you now for completeness' sake. We got Stan Lee's Mutants, Monsters, and Marvels, which is basically an extended interview with Stan Lee, conducted by Kevin Smith. Very cool, very fun. Goes into all the origins of Marvel Comics and stuff like that. It's a very frank and casual discussion. And we have the Blade trilogy. Look at that, nice box on there. I still do not have the Blade movies on Blu-ray. I need to get them, basically because it kind of dates back to when I was holding out on a lot of Blu-ray releases, hoping they would put out an edition with all the extras that were in the previous DVD editions, and these ones here are pretty loaded. So, yeah, but eventually what I ended up doing is what a lot of collectors did, I think, is like, well, if you want all the contents, you need to have multiple editions, because they're never going to have a definitive edition of every movie with every extra ever. So, basically the plan is keep this for the extras and the cool packaging. Actually, I really, really dig this box. And then get the Blu-rays to have the movies themselves in better quality. And then I also have the Blade anime as well. I just keep it with Blade because Blade. One of my viewers was asking me, how come you have the animes all split up as when they're all kind of connected? I'm like, well, I don't know. I didn't know they were connected because I haven't actually watched them yet. I've just owned them forever. And it just seemed to make sense to keep them with their respective characters or franchises, you know. So that's why the X-Men ones are with my X-Men cartoons, you know. Iron Man is with my Iron Man cartoons and stuff like that. So I don't know what to tell you. Then we have the Dolph Lundgren version of The Punisher. Great stuff. I always enjoyed this one. It's when was this from? 1989, 1990, 1989. Yeah. This was pretty notable in that I think it was the first R-rated Marvel movie adaptation. Didn't get a theatrical release, went straight to home video. And then we have this one, the extended cut of the 2004 Punisher, starring Thomas Jane. I don't care what anybody says, I've always really liked this movie. I also really like Warzone. It's a very different kind of Punisher, but it's based on the Punisher Max comics. This one is also kind of a different Punisher, but does have a lot of nods to the original source material. Plus, I think Thomas Jane was amazing. He was so good in this. And then we have Man-Thing, which kind of a Howard the Duck connection. Howard the Duck in the comics, originally appeared in Adventure into Fear number 19, which was featuring the adventures of the Man-Thing at the time. It's basically Man-Thing and Swamp Thing came out around the same time. So Man-Thing was Marvel's Swamp Creature, Swamp Thing was DC's Swamp Creature. I think Man-Thing slightly predated Swamp Thing by a few months. But anyway, as for the movie, it's not the most faithful adaptation. There are a lot of little nods to the various comic book creators. Like a lot of characters in it are named after the writers and artists of the original Man-Thing comics, so that was kind of a nice little nod. It's a strange animal. I kind of like it in a strange way. I think the visual rendition of the Man-Thing is actually quite good. Kind of a mix of practical and CG effects. But yeah, it would be nice to see a Man-Thing adaptation that was more faithful to the source material. Okay, and last but most definitely not least, should show you this one. We got the Incredible Hulk, the complete series. So I've actually done videos about my my Hulk collection, specifically my Hulk TV show and cartoon collection. So if you take a look through my videos, you can find those. But this is great stuff. It's all 82 episodes, all 4 seasons. I loved this show growing up. This was like my superhero show growing up, and still holds a special place in my heart. I've actually started sharing it with Rosie, and she really likes it as well. And then, of course, after a few years after the show ended, we had, this is the first 2 TV movies, The Incredible Hulk Returns, that guest stars Thor, and The Trial of the Incredible Hulk, which guest stars Daredevil. First live-action appearances of both of those superheroes, by the way. And this also has some additional extras on it as well, like some documentaries about Lou Ferrigno and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And then finally, the story ended on kind of a sad note with the death of the Incredible Hulk. And it was basically just kind of a, no superheroes in this or supervillains, it's basically just a spy story. And, well, spoiler, the Hulk dies at the end. And that's it. Now, there was going to be a follow-up called The Rebirth of the Incredible Hulk, but it didn't happen, and then sadly, Bill Bixby actually succumbed to the cancer that he had been battling for many, many years. And, well, that's all she wrote, so it's unfortunate. Well, sorry to end on such a downer, but that is it for the Marvel section. So, if you do want some more comic book action, I've also posted the DC section at the same time as this one, so feel free to check that one out if you still feel the need to get some more comic book on. And in the meantime, I will see you again tomorrow for the next edition of the updates. Next time, I think we're going to be talking about Star Trek. Yeah, my Star Trek DVD and Blu-ray collection, so everything I've got there. So check that out if you're a Trekkie or a Trekker or a Trekkier. Yeah. All right. That is it from me to you for now. So until next time, thanks for watching. Big thanks to my Patreon sponsors. And Excelsior!